Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. I'm joined by Regina Faticanti.
Good morning.
College professor, member of the Sheriff's Office. And we, of course, have our producer, John McDonough. And the national debt's up there, working towards $40 trillion. The low today is supposed to be 60, high 87. No rain, but Saturday and Sunday rain. There we are. In 1851, Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote an anti-slavery serial, Uncle Tom's Cabin, or Life Among the Lowly. It had a 10-month run in the National Era Abolitionist newspaper. And
now that was a book that was a formally required reading in grade school for kids. I mean, every kid read Uncle Tom's Cabin. Today, if you ask children, they have no clue what that book is.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate because and now some people say to you, we don't want our children to read it because it's racist. No, we want children to read it because it is racist, and we want children to understand.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. And I think that to take that out of the reading, the retinue is very unfortunate.
I agree. I fully agree. But it did help mobilize discontent against slavery in the northern states.
Yes.
Which led to the Civil War, which in essence led to, let's see. So Charlene is joining us. In 1883, the first regularly scheduled Orient Express departs Paris. The Orient Express was a fabled train that ran from Paris down into Turkey.
Great book by Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express.
In 1893, the trial of Lizzie Borden for the murder of her father and stepmother begins in New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Lizzie Borden took an axe. She gave her father 40 whacks. And when she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41. Now, people now realize that Lizzie Borden could never have committed that murder. She was not strong enough to lift that axe and to kill her father. People now realize that it was her brother who probably did that. Yeah, it was her brother that probably did that because now that her father was a widow and he had married a much younger woman. And they realized that, much younger woman is going to get dad's money when dad passes away. And son was not happy about that. So while it was a summer afternoon, I think everybody was pretty much napping, and son went in and killed dad and killed stepmom. And then took a bath, and I think Lizzie may have been aware of what happened, but she kept her mouth shut because she was going to benefit from the fact that dad's money was going to now pass to older brother. But I guess it was decided that Lizzie would take the rap because it was easier to find her innocent, because who would think that a nice young woman, could kill her father and stepmother? So now, if you go to Lizzie Borden's house, you can actually stay overnight in the bedroom where her parents were killed, and you could actually get a tour of the home, and you can actually get a tour of the graveyard where her parents are buried. So it's now a huge ghost cottage tour industry.
So that's isn't that down in Fall River?
It's on Fall River in New Bedford, New Beige.
So let's do musical chairs now. Let's get Charlene the table so we can hear her, and we can move on. Thank you.
So, back to music.
Yes?
My favorite line from the song
Go ahead.
is, "You can't chop your mother up in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a far cry from New York." I'm sorry,
I've never
my singing
heard that.
isn't
That's
very
awesome. That's wonderful. I've never heard that before,
Yeah.
Cliff. That is hysterical.
Yeah.
I never heard the song before. But yeah,
good.
so.
Oh, there is a song.
Oh, there is? Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay.
I figured that's where you learned the 40.
The 40, no, that's
Gave her
just.
father 40 whacks and
Yes,
gave her
Lizzie
mother
Borden,
41.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks, and when she'd seen what she had done, she gave her mother 41.
Yeah, that's part of the song.
Yeah. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, as we were becoming a better nation, in 1916, Louis Brandeis was sworn in as a justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, first American Jew to hold such a position.
Brandeis was an amazing justice.
Yeah.
And which Brandeis College is named after him?
Yes.
I lived in a town in South Jersey. There were no Jews, no blacks. There were only 7 Catholic families. The mayor, who was also the realtor when he interviewed my father, asked him if he was a Catholic. And my father, in a very Clinton-esque and narrow sort of way, said, "No, I'm not, but why do you ask?" And he says, "Well, Catholics tend to vote Democrat."
Oh my goodness.
That's
We
true.
did have one Christian Science family,
Okay.
but, it was pretty much down the road standard.
Wow.
Also in 1916, Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire breaks out. Lawrence of Arabia is partly responsible for that.
Great movie.
Died in a motorcycle accident in
Yeah,
the
he
30s.
did. Right.
So in 1917, conscription began in the United States with Army Registration Day.
Now, let me turn this over to John McDonough, because John McDonough has said previously that he believes that the next draft will include women. Is that correct, John? You think the
Yes,
next draft?
women's rights will come into play for the military.
Yep, I think you're right. I think the next time we have a draft, if we ever have one, women will be drafted.
So we'll be required to draft
Will be required,
Not just
yes,
a,
yes.
by
And
choice.
it's the first time the military brass will have pushback from day one. Because most, not all, most women are superior thinkers to men.
Yes,
So when the drill sergeant says, "You're going to do this, this, and this," she will correct him.
There is,
She will what? I didn't hear what you said, the word you chose.
Correct him.
she will correct him.
on the other hand, our example from World War II shows that the best place for women is on the factory floor.
Yes,
Rosie the
Rosie the
Riveter.
Riveter. So when men went to war, women stepped up. And they had campaigns that said, "Women, we need you." And women came from the home to the factory floor. Women made jeeps, they made tanks, they made parachutes, they made everything.
They ran Fort Devens.
And thank you, Charlene, they ran Fort Devens.
My mother was one of them.
Okay, how amazing. You really? That's incredible.
Yeah, it's funny because her name was Rosella,
Okay,
but she didn't like being called Rosie the Riveter, so she'd always correct them. But I have a picture of them. And 4 or 5 of her friends that all went, and they traveled from here out to Devens every day,
oh, that's amazing.
and they'd run that place,
That's incredible. I think the women really stepped up and they took their part as part of the war effort.
And some of them loved it. She loved it. In fact, she learned to drive an Army Jeep. Now, she'd make MASH look really good, because she was just that type, But I think she wasn't happy sad the war got over, but she was sad that she had to come back here
Right.
and find another job.
Well, that was the other thing that happened. When men came home, women got displaced from their jobs because Congress then said, hey, if a man had a job in a factory, they had to get that job back. Well, thank you. Hi, everyone. Regina, you look very pretty in white. Thank you very much, whoever the texter is. I appreciate it. Thank you. Women were vital national treasure during the
In
war.
England, Queen Elizabeth was a mechanic.
It was a mechanic. I have a picture of her because I'm very fond of Queen Elizabeth. But when all of the British royalty, much of the British royalty went and hid, she said, I will not leave my people. She went and she learned how to become a mechanic. She changed oil. She changed tires. She learned how to do everything on a Jeep. And she worked every single day. And I have great respect for her because she said, I'm not going to run and hide. I'm going to stand right here with my people. And she did.
Yeah.
What an amazing woman.
By contrast, in Germany, they did not take advantage of the woman power that they had. They had the women should stay at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it says a lot. Well, I don't want to say anything about the Germans because my father was here. He would go on and on and on, having been in World War II. Now, my two aunts, Aunt Helen and Aunt Aggie, they were nurses and they decided to join. They were stationed down in the South Shore at the Army Hospital. They lived there from Monday through Saturday, took the bus home on Sunday, and the train home on Sunday, and they spent the day Sunday with their families, and then they went back home Sunday night.
And that's why your Aunt Helen was such a tough nurse. I
Yes.
remember her.
Yes, she was tough.
Did she work for the public health department?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so I remember her.
Yes.
She was a neighbor of mine, but I remember.
Yes.
Very, very precise.
Yes,
Very direct.
absolutely. She was incredible.
Yeah.
Helen Laird. Yep.
So in 1947, in a speech at Harvard University, the U.S. Secretary of State, George Marshall, calls for economic aid to war-torn Europe that became known as the Marshall Plan. And for John, 1956, Elvis the Pelvis introduces his new single, Hound Dog, on the Milton Berle Show, scandalizing the audience with its suggestive hip movements.
Now, is this the one where he was only shown from the waist up? Is that or was he shown from the waist down, and then every other show he was
That was
only
it.
shown from the waist up because it was so suggestive?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, unbelievable. We have now how far we have come. Okay, when we turn on the TV now and we see people half naked, grinding and thrusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And music that they use the N and the F words.
Okay, and women are called horrible things, and which I don't agree with. I don't agree with the terms that women are called. I don't. It's not unacceptable.
And then back then, if you went to Catholic school and the nuns heard of this, someone being on TV with a little too much shaking, it was mentioned.
Ooh.
It was very casually. I remember the day after the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan, and I was in 5th to 6th grade, and we went outside for recess, and we all combed our hair forward like the Beatles. Oh my God. Then the nuns, I think it was Sister Inez, she's looking at him. This is at St. Michael's. Well, I want you to know, I know what all of you did. Now, they always told you don't take your comb out and comb your hair because you get, you pass something. You can take your combs out and fix your hair. And that was...
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. I remember it as bold as day. And it was... I remember, too, this is how much things have changed. The 8th grade graduation dance was coming up, okay?
Or leave room for the Holy Spirit.
Yes, yes. I said this to my little neighbor who was, when she was in 8th grade, she's 30 now, to her and her 2 friends. I said, have a great time tonight, but make room for the Holy Ghost. And they looked at me and they go, what?
Kids
They
not,
walked out-
no clue.
If
No
they,
clue.
as they walked out half naked and 13 years old.
Of course, absolutely,
Yeah.
of course. Yep. Okay.
Oh my God.
In 1963, the British Secretary of State for War, John Profumo, resigns in a sex scandal known as the Profumo Affair.
Also a very good movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yes, it was a good movie, yes.
But he was having an affair with a young lady who was also having an affair with the Russian, the Soviet naval attaché.
Maybe
Somebody
she was
got
a
around.
mole. Sounded like a
Yes,
mole to
there
me.
was a mole. I think there was a mole.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if you can get both sides to pay you, why not?
Exactly,
If
John.
you're selling information,
Right,
That's right. She could, and then she'd turn around and be very valuable to the
right,
U.S.
absolutely.
now you
Okay.
you might remember that at one point, the telephone company was going to charge you to call information,
I don't remember that, okay.
and that killed information immediately. As soon as we had to pay for it, we would go to the book. It was
I still
gone.
have a phone book.
Information was gone. Information, and you say, give me Cliff Krieger's number over on Manson Street, and she'd give you the number. But then the phone company said, okay, we're going to give you 2 free, the third one you're going to pay for. Nobody ever got to the third. You know,
Well,
All right.
a lot of people made a lot of money in phone books, and I'm not just talking about the printing, but the selling of ads, the one-line listing. You know, you paid for it. It was a lucrative.
it was
very
crazy
lucrative.
money.
Crazy. It was lucrative money. Very lucrative.
Crazy money. You would pay, we had a quarter page, and we paid $1,500 a month
That's a lot of money.
in the 70s.
Yeah.
That was a good sales job. Very good.
Wow.
And then people got their phones and the phone book. And so we canceled our Yellow Page ad, and they kept billing us for it. I says, no. And then they started suing us. I says, look, we told you cancel it, but you have a 3-year contract. I said, good luck. We'll see you in court. And they left us in the dust.
Ooh,
So,
that's a lot of money.
so John Profumo
Yes?
resigns,
Okay.
steps down from Parliament, and starts working in a charity in London. And a couple of decades later, Queen Elizabeth receives him and sort of gives him that absolution.
Oh, okay.
But it took a while.
All right.
In
So
1967,
what happened to the honey trap?
well, I think Christine Keeler has passed away, Mandy Royce Davies, I don't know.
Okay.
You guys are really into inside baseball over there.
All right, sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that didn't strike me as
I
inside
know.
baseball.
Yeah, it was kind of historical.
If you
I
would
don't
go
know.
over the microphone on Gorham Street this morning and ask
All
who
right.
these people are, and I'll bet you nobody knows.
Well, I didn't know who they were, but
Okay,
I was interested
thank you.
because I'll go home.
Do you know that Fred Flintstone had a brother? Let's talk about Fred Flintstone's brother.
What was the name?
Let's not talk about Fred Flintstone's brother.
All right, I thought so. So today's the day in 1967, the Six-Day War broke out between Egypt and Israel. Israel attacked Egyptian airfields in response to mobilization on the Egyptian side. And in 1968, presidential candidate John F. Kennedy is assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan.
And what was his reason for assassinating Robert Kennedy?
I don't know.
Just,
Do you remember?
I don't remember. That's why I'm asking. I figured Cliff remembered. If anybody out there remembers, if you could text it in, that would be great. Kennedys have been a target.
Did he survive or did we kill a guy?
What was the reason Sirhan went after Robert Kennedy?
And did Sirhan think he actually went to jail?
He
Good.
is still with us in jail.
Good.
So let's get his cell phone number and call him. Hey, why'd
He
you
probably
do that?
has a tablet. You probably can call him.
All right. In 1981, the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports 5 people in L.A., California, have a rare form of pneumonia seen only in people with weakened immune systems, which turned out to be AIDS.
So before we started, I was telling Cliff that I was in college at UMass Boston, and a guy I went to college with, he said to me, I think my lover has AIDS. And I said, Neil, what is AIDS? Now, you're talking to a kid who just came from Catholic school, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
And he said to me, Regina, you don't know what AIDS is? I said, no. And he told me, and I said, well, what? And he described to me the symptoms. And then we were at a party a couple of weeks later, and I looked at him and I said, oh yeah, this doesn't look good. And then the club I belonged to was across the hall from the Gay Straight Alliance, and so we got to know a lot about AIDS during my 4 years of college. And then I remember I had a job at Community Teamwork, and I had my first AIDS client. And I happened to mention to my boss that, oh, it's interesting, I have my first AIDS client today. And my office was in the basement. And he said to me, you did? I said, yeah, I did. I said, and I'm going to try to see what, services, I don't know what I can do for him, but see if I can give him any services. He sent the kid who cleans down to my office. And the kid who cleans says, Regina, what did he touch? I said, what? What did he touch? I said, well, I offered him coffee, and he drank from that coffee mug right there. He took the mug, he threw it away. I said, well, he signed with that pen, took the pen, he threw it away. He then took bleach, he washed off the chair, my desk, he washed my floor, he washed from the door to my office in bleach, because we didn't know anything about AIDS back then. And I stood there in shock. And I said, I don't think this is necessary. He said, oh, the boss told me to do it. And I thought, okay, but I still don't think this is necessary, because I don't think I'm going to catch anything off that coffee mug, which is now in the bucket, and I'm not going to get it back. But we knew so little about AIDS, and we were afraid.
There was a lot of fear about it.
Yep.
A lot of fear. I had some friends that worked in a Boston hospital, and am I talking close enough, John?
Perfect.
Okay, so and they had a patient that was they thought, I don't know if it was suspected or it was confirmed, and one of the employees was pregnant, and she took a leave because they didn't know how it was transmitted.
wow.
And it's just, it was like so much fear, and people didn't want to, this is my opinion, a lot of questions weren't asked because you were asking about a population where you didn't know who was out and who was
Right.
in. So you were very careful.
Right.
And, it was, especially for people that weren't out, there was already a huge amount of fear, and here it just added to that.
And this man caught AIDS. He was in a drug treatment program, and he caught AIDS from a woman who was an IV drug user. And he developed a relationship with her, and he said, we both knew we shouldn't have, because we were still in the program together.
Right.
But we developed a relationship, and now he said, and we are still together, and that's how I caught it.
Yep.
Yeah. That brings up another subject about contact between people that are in programs.
Right.
They say you shouldn't participate, but I don't know, maybe it's the lure of the secret, who knows?
I don't know.
Well, on this day in 1989, the Tank Man halts the progress of a column of advancing tanks for over half an hour at the Tiananmen
Tiananmen
Square protests.
Do you remember how he stopped it?
He just stood in front of it.
He took a daisy and he put it in the hole of the tank. And he just stood there. And when the tank went left, he went left. And when the tank went right, he went right. And that's how he stopped it. Unbelievable.
Well, it still
Courage.
resonates in China because today's headline that was, police warn families of Tiananmen Square crackdown dead not to visit graves on 37th anniversary.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
What the bravery of one man with a daisy in his hand. Just unbelievable.
If
In
it
ter-
wasn't for the photographer, we would never know.
Pardon me? You're right, John. Thank you. If it wasn't for one photographer who probably won a Pulitzer off that, as he should have, they should have, you're right, we would never have known. Unbelievable.
No, it would never made the headlines.
Nope. It was just an unbelievable event.
Well, today in 1878, Pancho Villa was born. He was the governor of Chihuahua. He died in 1923.
Ay, Chihuahua.
Yeah. And in 1883, John Maynard Keynes was born. Passed away in 1946. John, you know John Maynard Keynes?
Neither does anybody else.
I was going
going
to say,
through
I'm not
this
familiar
morning.
either.
I'm sorry, Cliff, I don't.
Do you know the U.S. economy?
Mm-hmm.
It's being run according to John Maynard Keynes.
Oh, okay.
He's
It's
economist.
being run by Donald Trump right now, but if
Yeah,
you want to
thank
say
you.
His theory.
that
I was
other guy's name, you can say whatever you want.
Keynesian economics.
Now, Kathleen Kennedy, is she one of the Kennedys? 1819?
Yes.
Okay.
1953. She is famous for having destroyed the Star Wars franchise.
How come?
She feminized it.
Why? Oh, shame on her. I mean, I only saw the first movie, but I do have family who are Star Wars fanatics. So, and friends who are Star Wars fanatics. Now, somebody has told me that it's all about the fight of the Jews. Is that correct?
I never heard that.
Yes, that's what somebody had explained to me, and I thought, well, that's excellent. But okay, it's about the Jews versus Hitler, and I thought, well, that's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. I never drew that analogy, but I can see
Well,
it. I can see that that's what it would be.
That's I don't know that. I don't know
How do you
sure.
connect those puzzle parts?
Pardon me?
How do you connect those puzzle parts?
Well,
How can you
because
see who's Hitler?
It's good versus evil.
Oh, okay.
Star
That
Wars
goes
is
back
good-
that goes back to biblical times, and you're
Right.
saying it has to do with the Jews.
Right. It's good versus evil. Like, I am not your father would be evil.
Let me ask
right?
you this question:
Go ahead.
do you think genocide is happening in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I think people are being killed.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say there's a difference.
But
People
they're-
being killed in genocide.
Well, but they're killing their own people.
The Arabs are killing their own people.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're blaming it on the Jews.
No. Well, no. Charlene, we saw pictures of people driving in tanks, shooting guns at their own people. 150,000. They killed 150,000 of their own people. No Jews killed their own people. They killed their own people.
Okay.
We saw photos of it that were not AI doctored.
Okay.
No, I believe you, and I'm not for or against. I'm not.
We saw. I mean, we saw.
But the Jews are overkilling the Muslims. Wholesale, just killing them. That's what genocide is. And they're having a genocide in Gaza right now, because they, even through today, it's death to Israel, death to America. That's what they chant. The people who still live in Gaza, that's what they chant.
Did you?
They gotta go.
Absolutely.
They gotta go.
Do you remember when you've been to Israel, John? I don't know if you remember, but I remember we went to Bethlehem, which was a Palestinian city.
Okay.
So all of the policemen were Palestinian. All of what I remember is the part we went in. Of course, you had to go to where Christ was born. There's a church there, and all of the women were all. It was the first time I ever saw the burqa with just the slit. Okay, and the women and the children they were like apartment buildings, and they would be out on the porch, and the women would systematically turn their face. Now this is because they don't want to look at anyone. If they looked at a man, they'd probably get killed. And this was the first time I had actually seen this in live, and you can feel the tension of evil, because I remember a Palestinian policeman walked by us, and I thought, if my mother ever knew I was here, she'd be yelling at me. It was like, why did you do this to yourself? But then we go to the church or the place where they say, the manger was, and it was really interesting because a number of what do you call when people visit religious places? There's a word for it.
Oh, yes.
Pilgrims?
Yeah, they were making a pilgrimage, and they were very excited to be there, and there was a long line. And then I'm thinking to myself, I could walk outside and get killed.
Yep.
If I looked the wrong way. And I just had never experienced that. And it's just things that what I learned was that, whether Israeli or Palestinian, they're like you and I. They grow up, they want to get married, they want to have a life, they want to have kids, they want to go to birthday parties, and they want their kids to have friends. And there's limitations around all of this. And whenever the international borders change, 1 week you're living in an Israeli neighborhood, and the next week you got to move because it's now a Palestinian. And those are the things that just the average daily living and the stress that brings. And I can't imagine what it's like now. I just, having seen that, and it's just, we forget about the actual people like you and I and Cliff and John that want to just have a life,
It interesting. I read a report that said in Iran they have eased back on the restriction for women to have their heads covered.
I'm shocked.
As
It's wonderful.
A recent. This is part of the current war and unrest in Iran. They've sort of eased those restrictions a little bit.
A woman going back to school yet?
I don't know if that's the case.
Gosh.
By the way, you skipped over William Boyd.
I did because I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is
I figured I'd
either.
save John
Well,
the trouble.
John knows.
Does John know who William Boyd is?
Okay.
Cliff,
Hop along,
See,
Cassidy.
Okay, Cliff, you're gonna
Hop along, Cassidy,
See,
John.
What Cliff loves to do.
So
Cliff, he lives to prove to people who are around him, he's the smartest guy here. He lives to do that.
And John lives
He lives to do
to
that.
burn time.
And Cliff, I just corrected you. That's all.
so
Hop
You
along-
didn't take that at all.
hop along,
So
Cassidy.
what do you have to say back to that, Cliff? That
Hop along,
have
Cassidy.
You have a hobby of proving to everybody in the room you're the smartest person here.
Actually, I work on
I want to
dialing it back.
I want to promote Cliff's the Friday morning routine. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, we all know the name, and the other thing was she from the famous Kennedys? Because we know some Kennedys here, like Ed Kennedy, that wasn't from the famous Kennedys that we know of. So, and she co-founded Amblin Entertainment. I have been watching the reruns of ER, and I'm binge watching it, and the company that produced or was involved in producing and having it online was Amblin Entertainment.
So she produced it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was shocked. Now
All right.
I would have never connected it if you didn't have it on your list. So there you go. There was a useful bit of information there.
John, have you ever heard of Hopalong Cassidy? Apparently not. Anyway, when I was growing up,
Okay.
Hopalong
Luckily,
Cassidy.
I have a text to override you, Cliff, so,
Good morning. We aren't taught to hate like the Middle Eastern children are. Until the parents teach not to hate, it'll never change.
he's right.
You're very correct. You're
How
right.
long cast I never liked the show, Cliff.
Oh, okay.
Sky King was better.
Uh,
Do you remember Sky King, Cliff?
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know who Sky King was.
he was gone before.
Oh, okay.
No,
What
it
was,
was
it,
gone.
what was Sky King's daughter's name?
Penny.
Very good.
So we can go down that road. Sky King, Rin Tin Tin.
I didn't like Rin Tin Tin.
What was that one? Something King of the Yukon. It was about a husky dog and a guy that was on a. He was
Yukon King.
Yeah, I used to love that. What else? We had the Roy Rogers show. We had the Gene Autry show. These were cowboys.
Okay. All
Like
right.
but civil cowboys.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I preferred Major Mud in the morning.
Oh, I remember Major
Okay.
Mud.
I love
Okay.
the Major Mud.
So,
Gozer
just-
was not my cup of tea.
But that's and Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night was Mitch Miller. Saturday night was Lawrence Welk. Both my grandmothers loved both of those. Laurie Welk.
Well,
I remember going up there. I'd go visit her on a Saturday night.
He was great. Larry?
Yeah, Laurie Welk, she used to call him. She loved it,
So moving on, in 1910, O. Henry died.
The candy bar guy?
that's what I was thinking. Didn't he make a candy bar?
Yes, they did.
That's too bad.
His work that I like the best is The Gift of the Magi.
That was
Oh, very
that,
nice.
I
Very
love
nice.
that. That was
Yes,
a
very
great,
nice. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
2004, Ronald Reagan passed away. Today's the feast day of St. Boniface.
There was a guy. He was an entertainer. He was
Yes.
fantastic.
And even as a president, he was an entertainer.
His presentations were excellent.
They were excellent. Yes, they were.
And today is the World Day Against Speciesism and World Environment Day.
What's speciesism?
I'm
I'm sorry. I
glad
don't
you
know what
asked.
that is.
I have no clue. What is
Again, I'm the dumbest person in the
that? No,
room.
make that two of us. What is that?
Charlene knows. Charlene, tell us what speciesism is.
About
Speciesism.
I'm shaking my head at it either because the only thing I can think of is, how we have the species.
Yeah, I know how
Okay.
we have
Maybe-
species.
I thought it was an F. Is it an S? Begins with an S?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I thought it began with
the only
F.
thing I can think of is, how there's an order, like, I forget, there's the, like, primate, and then in primate, there's a bunch of different subspecies.
Yeah.
And just like what's that thing with the chemicals on it, that table?
Oh, yeah, periodic table.
Yeah, so like someone, I don't want to say invented, but developed that. Maybe someone developed the species type thing, because it wouldn't be important to you or I, but if you're a zoologist or you're a researcher in health, you'd want to know what species are prone to this and that and the other.
The technical term is taxonomy, that you break down things into subgroups. But speciesism is the idea that one species would use and abuse another species. For instance, there are people that are against horse racing because they believe that we're abusing horses.
Okay.
And maybe they're against using oxen to
A
pull
dog
plows.
sled race.
Dog
Okay,
sled
all right.
race.
Okay.
And how about when we're eating a hamburger?
Oh God, that's a hard one.
How about what?
When we're eating a hamburger.
Are we abusing the cows?
Yeah.
They taste good. Now, some
Now,
people in my
Let's
office.
move on to lobster now.
Some people in my office had a conversation about lamb chops and whether or not we abuse these little baby lambs that are grown specifically
For lollipops?
for lollipops. And the woman I work with said they taste darn good. Taste darn good,
But,
so I don't know.
you know-
Taste darn good.
When you think about it, okay, let's take veal, okay?
Love veal.
My background is Italian. My mother used to make a delicious roast veal with the roasted potatoes
Yeah.
around it. I never thought once about until I got older, and I heard that the way they keep the
Oh, I
veal-
don't want to talk about it.
Okay, you know
Okay,
what I'm talking
oh.
about. There's abuse, and I can't eat veal anymore. I really have a hard time.
I can. I put it out of my mind.
But it's like, when you think about it, is like a triple hamburger or a double hamburger? Is that like really abusing the beef, because we got to have more beef?
I can't eat a double hamburger because it just, I can eat almost a single hamburger, but
It's
I don't think
people. It's like, where do you draw the line? It's you have the order of the species. What can you say? And I'm sorry, I just can't
So
be a vegetarian.
here's my belief. A friend of mine, her husband just went bear hunting.
I get feces and what you get from City Hall.
Okay. And he caught a bear. He shot a bear. And she said to me, I didn't know if I should tell you, Regina. I said, why not? I said, what did he do with the bear? She said, well, he brought it to a guy, and he took all the bear meat, and we're going to have hamburger, we're going to have cutlets, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. We gave some meat away to the veterans group up there, and now we're going to have the bear taxidermied. I said, did you waste any of it? She said, no, of course not. I said, then what's the problem? I don't have a problem with that. We have too many deer running around. So are you going to kill the deer, eat the deer meat, like Native Americans do? I have no problem with that. Absolutely not. Native Americans kill deer, eat deer, use the skins to make clothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, to just go wantonly into the forest and snap off a shot, go, oh yeah, I got that one, and leave it dead, that I got a problem with. But if you're going to take that deer home, you're going to cut that meat up. A lot of guys I know who hunt send a lot of meat to veteran shelters, and then they will tan the hide. They'll send it to leatheries. I am so okay with that. Not a problem at all. But if you're just going to walk into the forest for the joy of killing something, that I have a problem with. But if you're going to do what Native American tribes have done for centuries, and that is kill to eat, and then and that's, I don't have a problem with that.
It was very common to hunt. To
Yes,
eat.
that's how you had
And
to
I'm
feed
not
yourself.
not just with Indians.
They call going to the supermarket now.
That's right. That's right.
You go to the supermarket hunting now.
Right.
The same thing with fishing. I mean, it was very, I don't believe in batting a fish over the head to make it die. But on the other hand, catching it and, cleaning it and frying it in a frying pan I grew up on that, and
Right.
I don't see it. So where do you, there's a difference between, what you point out, there's a difference between animal abuse and the order of the food chain order.
Right.
They're two different things.
Taking food home to eat it is one thing. Just killing for sport, like these big game hunters who want to go and to shoot a lion because they have they want to shoot a lion. That I don't agree with that at all. But if you're bringing food home to your family, you're sending food to a veteran shelter, I am so okay with that.
Where I'm from, originally,
Where are you from, Cliff?
Johnstown.
Originally?
Johnstown,
Johnstown, Pennsylvania?
yeah. I was not there for the flood.
Didn't know that.
Steel mills shut down on the first day of bear season
Okay,
because everybody had to go hunt.
all right.
Well, the Department of Housing and Urban Development has dumped the Housing First model of homeless funding, which is interesting because the NOFA has just come out for homeless funding.
Oh, the NOFA. Regina, what's the note?
The
I don't know what the NOFA is, but I do know that the first low-income housing in the United States is, guess where, John?
Lowell.
Bishop Markham?
Lowell, Massachusetts,
Or
Cement City.
Julian Steele?
Cement City in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Was that the Bishop Markham?
So it wasn't Bishop Markham, it's actually right where St. Joseph's High School used to be, all along that Merrimack River there. Those were the first planned low-income housing
My
in the
take it
United
was for
States.
veterans too, right?
I don't know if it was for veterans, John, but I do know it was low-income public housing.
Hey, do you girls like bingo?
Pardon me?
Do you girls like bingo?
I never played bingo.
You never played bingo?
I never played bingo.
I don't like it.
I know the song,
Well, there's a lot of people
B-I-N-G-O.
who love bingo.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Oh, but
And
my
they're gonna play it this Sunday at the senior center.
Ooh,
Rita Mercier just sent me a text message.
okay.
usually
So I'm
the
gonna
thing
put
is,
this
you're
out
going to play
now.
10 or 20 cards.
I know, I don't
Oh, I
think I
can't
can.
stand, and they
So
can see.
Virginia, you wanna read
Hi,
this?
McD. Could you say a public service for me this morning from our favorite city councilor, Rita Mercier? In an effort to keep your grandparents off the street and raise money for the Friends, we are having bingo on Sunday, June 7th at 2 p.m. Over 18, all are welcome at the Lowell Senior Center, 276 Broadway Street in Lowell. We will have a lot of fun. Thank you, Councilor Mercier. We appreciate that. So if you want to keep your favorite senior citizen off the street, Sunday, June 7th at 2 o'clock, you have to be over 18. Everybody is welcome at the Lowell Senior Center at 276 Broadway Street.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's funny.
John, what's that white line in the screen? Vertical. There's two of them
I don't see it.
Oh, after, in between the flag?
on either side
I don't
of the
have it on my
flag.
monitor, so it just must be the monitor over
You know
there.
what it is? It's a wood panel around the window.
Oh,
The way it's
and
reflecting.
because the table's glass, you
Yeah.
see that down below the table. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, $4 billion focused with applications due in August. The Housing First, this is a quote, the Housing First experiment failed Americans by warehousing the vulnerable without results.
You think?
Yeah, and that's from HUD Secretary Scott Turner. And the ideology promised to end homelessness. Instead, billions of taxpayer dollars are spent while homelessness increased to record levels.
Because it turned into a business for companies.
Right, because once you got into public housing, you never left. And then it became
Why would you?
generational.
$300 a month.
Right.
All your utilities are included.
Right.
Two
Generational.
bedrooms. 2 bedrooms. Nice stuff.
Yes. So,
That's affordable housing. Let's create more public housing. There's your answer, Cliff. There's your affordable
Right,
housing.
and then, and my thing is the disregard that people have, like, not keeping their apartments clean and realizing that.
because
they
I don't
haven't-
own it. I have no vested interest, Charlene, you're 100% correct. I don't own it, so I have no vested
Right,
interest
right,
in it. Right.
But they'll complain that, the city didn't do it. Well, maybe other than sweeping the stairway, that's about it. The rest is up to you. You don't keep it clean. It's just,
When I worked at community teamwork, one
And
of the
they'll
things.
say, show me the rule where I have to keep my apartment clean.
Right. One of the things I did was in apartment inspection, because I did code enforcement.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go into people's apartments.
oh, God.
So I'll tell you a horrible story. A cockroach dropped from the ceiling onto my head right here. And it was a very large roach.
Oh, God, please.
After I got it out of my hair for 2 weeks, I just kept going and running my finger right up here. I created a cowlick on the top of my head. So my mother catches me leaving the house one morning with her big sun hat. And if you remember, it had like a
Tie on.
nylon tie under the chin. Huge thing. And my kid slip-on sneakers with the treads that had already been worn off. She looked at me as I'm leaving the house to get into the car, and she said, "Where are you going with my beach hat?" And I said, "I'm taking it to work with me." She said, "What are you taking that to work with you for?" I said, "It's my cockroach catcher." She said to me, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I did an apartment inspection a couple of weeks ago, and a cockroach fell from the ceiling, and it got stuck in my hair, and I don't want that to happen again, so I figured if I wore the hat, it would jump on the hat, and I could just shake it off." She said, "Well, what do you get the sneakers for?" I said, "Well, if you step on a cockroach, and it's a female, the guys at work told me that the eggs get stuck in the treads of your shoes, come home,
And
put
go
them
in
on
your
the
house.
rug on a nice warm surface, the eggs can hatch. So you can see that I've worn the treads off the bottom of these, so I won't bring any home." That was my uniform when I went and did
Oh,
apartment
God.
inspections.
Let me tell you something. We talked about, people not getting kicked out. I had a friend who was a social worker, and she worked for an elderly agency, and she was the hoarding specialist. Okay?
Oh, boy.
She had got a call from whomever, and this woman was in senior housing, which is public housing, and they have a yearly inspection. Okay, they do have inspections now, and the inspector was gonna say, kick her out. They're gonna say she can't stay here unless she straightens this out. So my friend got called in to work with her and clean up the hoarding mess. And but where would this woman go if she, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right to hoard. I think it's a great thing that they have these programs. Because it's a safety issue, it's a
Right.
health issue,
Which is another good example of how America just ignores mental illness.
Yes.
Like that guy with the I have to use the TV term, the long gun. The machine gun the guy had last week in Cambridge. That
Right.
guy's mentally ill. He should have been cooped up someplace. But, no, we have to give him his rights.
Did
Well,
you
that-
see his record, John? You speak about that? His record, his criminal record was huge. Again, as a part of his mental illness. You're right.
Right. But the other thing is, how did he get a gun that big? Was it
It's if you have the money, you can buy anything
That's
you
right.
want
John
today.
is correct. If you
Would
have
you
the
like a
money,
hand grenade? I get you a hand grenade for
Right.
this afternoon. If you have the money, you can buy anything you want.
John's right.
If you buy a tank, the problem is they'll stop you on Route 3.
yeah?
Except
maybe-
if you're Wally Bayless.
Unless the state police are sleeping in their cruiser, they might not look up. But once you pull off in Hampshire, the Chelmsford cops are going to
Yeah.
pull you right
the
over.
Yeah.
if you
With
get
that-
out of
that
that
tank.
Route 3 rest area.
So there's multiple issues here. That not only the way we deal with mental health, and I remember the extreme side where we just locked people up. Like I've read a couple articles lately. I follow this history podcast, and a couple of the things that have come up was back in the 1800s, even some of the early 1900s. Your wife didn't do what you told her,
Yeah.
or if she was very bright and she would, question you or anyone in order to nip that in the bud and keep her quiet, they'd have her declared mentally ill. And off she'd go and sometimes be hidden away for years, and there were other kinds of abuse that went on. And in an effort to change that, we've gone to the extreme, and where someone has their rights, but how do you decide what's their right and what's the safety of themselves and the public? I understand. I saw some of this in my own work when I was much younger. People that were just put away and not given a chance.
But Charlene, we know by the time you hit the 8th grade, you're sped.
I'm what?
You're special ed.
Special needs.
What do you do?
We
No,
know.
you know by the 8th grade,
Okay.
this person's going to be special needs.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And so, why do we continue? We know in the 8th, why don't we start helping the men? But no, we're going to give them a welfare card and let them roam the streets.
See, I'm
That's
all for
not right.
I'm all for helping them, and I think there's a lot of successful programs, and I think back to,
Can you name me one? Name me a successful program that just doesn't perpetuate their cause?
well, maybe there aren't the successful programs, but there are spots within programs that are successful because the people that actually do the work,
They just grow their crop.
you know.
I'm now serving 500 homeless next week. Next year there's 600, and in 10 years it's 6,000 homeless. They want a mecca for homeless, to grow the homeless. I want them to guarantee giving them a leg up.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a handout.
No, and I don't know how I'm telling you, it's a problem,
What we're doing is wrong. If you take a ride by the now closed Hafner's gas station, you'll see a bunch of drug addicts. If it's a rainy day, they'll be hanging out over at the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army says absolutely not. They don't do that. Well, I got pictures.
They do it every day.
So they're hanging out high as a kite.
Yes.
When you see somebody sleeping in the street, pouring rain in the gutter, they're high on drugs.
Yes. So, John, I drove by a couple of days ago. It was there was a man laying in the Thorndike Street exit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was passed away or if he was passed out. 5 cruisers circling him, but no ambulance. Have we seen anything in the news?
You know,
I haven't seen
some
it.
lady jumped off the bridge over the weekend. She never got any press either.
Okay.
Which bridge was it? The UMass Lowell?
One of the bridges that goes over the Merrimack.
Very unfortunate. And as I'm driving by, and I look over and I see this man laying face down, all these police officers and police cruisers surrounding, no ambulance. I say, Lord, why did I have to see that? Why did I have to see that? I didn't need to see that. But I thought, okay, I'll probably see something in the paper, but I haven't seen anything in the
No.
paper about it.
Well, the
I-
paper,
I have a-
the
I-
paper isn't as. They don't have the reporters like look at WCAP crack news.
Yeah.
They don't have. They skip the news now.
I have a bone to pick about the mental health care. Okay, the UMass Lowell Bridge, lots of suicides.
Yes.
There was 2 within a year. Okay, so Tommy Golden and a few other people that are involved and someone from UMass and someone else, they're going to have a meeting on how they're going to curb this. They put up a sign that says, "Please don't jump. Call this line." By the time a person gets to the point that they want to climb off that bridge, do you think they're going to read a sign?
No, they aren't.
Where is the? You can't tell me that there isn't much. Like, if you go over the Brook Bridge, it has that covering. That's what they need.
Right.
Okay. Now you can't. If they were good leaders, if they were creative, they would find someone that would give them the money. Okay, a mental health agency, a charity, whatever. And I rode by that sign this morning, and I was like, they got to take the sign away. I'm going to have an accident someday. Because, the person is not going to read. When you get that far, you're that distraught. And
You're
they're going
not
to have to
reading the
give
sign.
classes to the
Right.
kids at UMass Lowell how to talk someone off the bridge if you're walking over.
You're not reading the sign.
Right. They're not going to do it. Be a little more creative. You don't have to have a meeting with coffee and donuts. Where's that money coming from? And I was like so mad.
Taxpayers.
I just was like, I wanted to call John, and you got to put this on the program because you got to tell them they're not being creative here. So I hope I get a few.
What we're doing is not working, and I'm glad that the Golden Man is finally saying, what we're doing is not working. And if I were the city manager, I would call all the not-for-profits in town, and I would say, I want the population of homeless reduced in Lowell by 10%, or I will write Lori Trahan and ask her not to fund you next year.
They'll find a way to do
You
it.
gotta hit if you hit somebody in the wallet, they're gonna go in a better direction.
But
They're just growing the crop. Why do we have more homeless in Lowell? You can ask you can ask these homeless people down at Hafner's. It's not Hafner's anymore. I don't know what by the Salvation Army. Where are you from? And they'll tell you they're from Boston. They're from Hyannis. Why
I
are
think
they
some
here?
people get dropped off in Lowell.
that's true. That's what I've heard. But here's the other thing. Okay, the transitional housing building. That's not city-run. That program isn't city-run.
No, it's
It's
not.
run by a social service
A
agency.
not-for-profit, of a non-profit.
Well, whatever, but they never meet they never meet the public health inspection, ever. So what is the city doing keeping them there?
Well, where do you want the homeless to go?
I don't know, but it's not working.
Stop subsidizing. It's wrong. Stop subsidizing them.
You know, it's just not working.
So, what we're facing is a larger issue, and that is back when we were founded around 1600, down in Virginia, they had a failing settlement, and somebody came in and laid down the law and said, those who will not work will not eat. And up here in Massachusetts, we proceeded on what got nicknamed 125 years ago the Protestant work ethic.
Yes.
And
And
we threw that all away in 1964 with President Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. And I don't think that we have that sense. We're not prepared to say to our neighbors, you need to work.
you know, Cliff, I talk about the Protestant work ethic in my class because I talk about white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, the WASPs, how their work ethic was unbelievable. And when immigrants came, that work ethic just transferred from one group to the next.
Yes.
The immigrants were
So,
amazing
Cliff, can you
workers.
introduce city life, since we blew through the break?
Okay,
I want to keep going on that.
Cliff?
We are into city life now.
Eileen Delrossi.
You can tell Eileen Delrossi just called. Hello, Eileen. How are you?
Good morning, Cliff. I'm just.
are we on break?
How are
No.
you? How are
I
you?
can't reach
Amy.
that.
Oh, you can't.
I can.
All right. So, and this is Eileen Delrossi calling in from Christian Hill.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
Good morning. I just shipped my son off to school. He told me he wants to get a baby kitten. I said, maybe when you come home from school, I'll have a baby tiger for you.
Why would you get him a baby tiger? Like a
It's-
stuffed one?
I don't think the city has
Because
a
I
license
think
for that.
I'm not a cat person. I
Pull
think
the
I
phone
would
a
like
little further away from the mic.
a baby tiger instead of a baby kitten.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
'Cause more like a dog.
Okay.
I read something over the weekend that cat owners are more likely to have schizophrenia.
Yeah, after the rabies shots I had, I probably do have schizophrenia.
Well, you know, you gotta. I'm a dog lover, but you gotta think of the personalities of cats.
Right.
They're sneaky.
They're sneaky, and I had a silky terrier for 13 years, and he wasn't usually sneaky because he gave it away. You could tell. I said, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
I would go down. I don't think a cat does that. Your cat just ran out the door
Yep.
one time.
Yep.
Because we were, I was picking
Yep.
you up, and out the door the cat
Out
goes.
the door the cat goes. Yep.
And happy as, and the tail's right up, and happy as can be.
Yep.
You know, but I mean, I like I said, I prefer dogs, and some people think there's certain kinds of dogs that are awful.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. It's really a preference. I've met some cats that are completely lovable and just want to be patted and and I love that type of cat. But then there are other types of cats that claw at you, and I don't know. But I mean, I also have 130 pounds black lab named Max, who I think he's half human because he comes to me and he cries and he wants
God.
to be let out, and I feel like he's trying to talk to me. I'm a little in the animal world right now.
Well, you know something, labs are like that. They're noted for that. The way they do that, but they can also be. They also can be mischievous. My cousin had one. And this dog, my cousin had the gravel rock type driveway down to his chicken coop. And the dog knew when my cousin was going in the chicken coop, and he'd follow him. And when the basket was full, he'd knock the basket, and he'd eat the egg would fall, and he'd eat the egg yolk, but he also ate a couple rocks with it.
Oh,
So off they go. He spent like $15,000 because this dog needed surgery a couple times.
oh, I bet.
You know, and
So-
this dog also, he had pear trees lining the driveway. The black lab would sit there, and the white lab would jump and jump and jump till he caught the branch and shook the trees, and the black lab was eating the pears.
John,
We had some
They're just
text
playful.
messages.
John, you want me to read the text messages?
Yeah, I just got one more that just came in, so I'll put them up in a second.
Okay.
Oh, well, you were saying that you discussed the Protestant work ethic in your.
Yes, so I talked to my students about, that whole white Anglo-Saxon Protestant work ethic.
Yeah.
And how, let's understand that these people came from an environment where no education was not allowed because people who were titled or moneyed got educated. So education was mandated. So I explained to my students, hey, you can thank the Pilgrims for the requirement that everybody gets educated. So let's read this text. How about dog parks? Does the panel think it's needed, and should the money be spent elsewhere? So, having had a few dogs, dog park's not a bad thing. You get to go to the dog park, dogs get to kind of hang out with each other, dogs get to socialize. Dog parks are not a bad thing.
We have a dog park because somebody who loves dogs has a connection at City Hall.
I didn't know that.
If they didn't have a connection, we wouldn't have dog. But what happened to Marty Laurie's ice skating rink? Remember Marty Laurie had an ice skating rink every winter when he was a city councilor? What happened to it?
I don't know.
It's gone.
It's gone. So how
The
about
connection to City Hall's gone.
The connection to City Hall is gone. Okay. How about war movies? Has the panel watched the movie 1917? Texter, no, I have not. Sorry to say. Fascism is what you get from City Hall. That's a good one, Texter. Unfortunately, kids nowadays are put up on pedestals and not taught to figure out things on their own. Most kids nowadays can't even boil water. I agree with you 100%.
And the last time we read this, the Lowell crowd wasn't here yet, so.
So they can't boil water, but they can read a Starbucks menu. I went with a little girl one day, and
Regina's
so
gonna
I'm
read-
going to read
Regina's
this
gonna
text.
this one.
Hi, McD. Could you say a public service for me this morning? In an effort to keep your grandparents off the street and raise money for the Friends, we're having bingo on Sunday, June 7th at 2 p.m. You must be over 18. All are welcome at the Lowell Senior Center, 276 Broadway Street in Lowell. We will have a lot of fun. And that got sent in by Counselor Rita Mercia. Thank you, Counselor Mercia. We appreciate it.
Regina, how do your studs respond to you talking to them about the Protestant work ethic and all that?
So I'm talking to my students who are in my Whittier class, my Whittier high school students. So these are kids who are in high school. They are learning a trade. They are going to, they have jobs, many of them. They are working in the trade, and they're also taking a college course. They exemplify the Protestant work ethic.
they do.
They exemplify it. So I'm talking to them about them.
What is the Protestant work ethic,
All
Regina?
work, no play. All work, no play. And the Protestants believe that if we can't go to church on Sunday, God's going to forgive us because God knows that the way we go to heaven is all work, no play. Got to make money, but not be ostentatious
I'm
about
glad
it.
I'm Catholic.
John, were you here Monday?
I'm here every weekday, Cliff, yes.
Ah. Do you remember us talking about the Protestant work ethic?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't pay attention.
But that was
It came from Max Weber back
Yes.
around
yes,
1900.
How about the Jewish motto?
a
How about the Jewish motto? When the kiddo has a hammer and the mother comes out and says, never mind that hammer, here's a book.
and that's okay too.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
That's right.
Max Weber, a great sociologist.
Yeah, and he drew the idea of the Protestant work ethic from Calvinism,
Yes.
which is a you,
Was that a car?
I'm going to,
Calvinism, was that a car?
no.
No,
What's Calvinism, Cliff?
It is a
The
religion
religion.
based on the works of John Calvin.
right.
And did he have a
Is
ladder,
is
a
he a
hammer, or a book?
predestination person or
He what?
works? Well, what was his premise? Because like Luther
Yeah.
and
I'll
him
ask
and
Google.
the Methodists had premises.
Yeah, well,
John Wesley was
he
the Methodist.
Calvin thought that your success in life was an indication of God's favor.
Ah. But you had to do things, I would imagine, to bring favor from
More
God.
Protestant malarkey.
So, Calvinism is a major branch of Protestant Christianity that emerged during the 16th century Reformation, rooted in the teachings of French theologian John Calvin. It emphasized the absolute sovereignty of God in all aspects of life, the sole authority of the Bible, and the doctrine
Predestination.
of predestination.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
So the other side of that is, if you weren't successful, is that because you weren't predestined by God to be successful?
well, according to Calvinism,
Well,
it is,
yeah,
yes.
you know, it's just, so where does
There's more
free
here.
will come in?
You are sugar out of luck.
Yeah.
Here's 5 points of Calvinism.
Okay.
They call it tulip.
The tulip.
That's what.
Total depravity. Every human is corrupted by sin. You, unconditional election. God's choice of who will be saved, the elect. L, limited atonement. Christ's death on the cross was designed specifically to pay for the sins of the chosen. I, irresistible grace. When God calls the elect to salvation, his grace cannot be rejected. P, perseverance of the saints. Those whom God has saved will be eternally secure, preserved by his power. Okay,
Eternal security
sounds good to
is
me.
an expression I've heard before.
Okay,
So I want to change subjects
yes.
and ask Eileen, why was the school committee meeting canceled this week?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's because of the Lowell High graduation that was on Wednesday, June 3rd. And actually, Regina, I have a question for you as school committee. So
Sure.
I've heard that when you walk in for the procession of school committee, that it should be led by the mayor, then the school committee, and then the superintendent and so forth. Is that true?
That is
Because the way
correct,
this
because
was set up
remember,
was that the administration, the
Remember,
superintendent
Wait
went
till she's
before the
done.
school committee.
remember, they work for you. You do not work for them. You're elected by the people. So you go first.
Interesting.
So elected officials first,
Elected officials
then
first.
employees.
Then employees. John's correct.
So
Elected officials first.
How did it happen, Eileen?
I get it's happened a few times now. I know that.
What happened? We don't know what happened.
I-
What happened?
I didn't know the procedural. Like even when Joel Boyd was here, I don't think I even paid attention to it. But it was just brought to my attention, and I found it to be very interesting.
Did she
Because you
tell
know when
us
you're
what
brand
happened?
new
No.
to something, you're not really paying attention. I guess I wasn't even paying attention to those details.
Eileen, what happened?
give us the order. Who went in first?
On Wednesday night, what happened Wednesday night?
So it was the mayor, the administration, and then the school committee.
That was wrong. You don't work for them. They work for you. You tell that superintendent of yours to call me and I'll explain it to him.
and just full
Give him
disclosure,
my phone
I
number.
wasn't there. I was not there because I was, I was dealing with my 13-year-old. I was 13-year-olding. So I wasn't able to be there, but I do remember that's the way it's been with this specific superintendent for the last few years.
Give
even
him
in
my
the
phone
inauguration.
number.
I'm gonna talk to Rebecca because tonight's break at high school. I want to see what they do.
They work for you. You do not work for them. You work for the people of the city of Lowell.
That's correct.
Okay?
So back to no
Okay.
school committee meeting this week. Couldn't you have had a meeting on Thursday? I mean, is there not work to be done?
Oh, there's plenty of work to be done, Cliff. We did have a curriculum subcommittee meeting last Thursday in terms of the new reading curriculum that was selected that some of the teachers are not fans of. So I know with it being, I know with it being the beginning of summer and the end of the school year, it gets choppy with the meeting dates and all. So our next meeting date is June 17th, which I'm not even going to be able to make that because I'm having my carpal tunnel and my cubital tunnel fixed on that day. So maybe I could go, but it would be very
Cubital
interesting.
tunnel? What is the cubital tunnel?
It's
The one
it's
attached to
the one in
Cupid's
the
arrow.
elbow.
Okay.
It's called cubital tunnel syndrome. I don't know. I'm special. I got it all.
Yeah,
you
I
name
can
it, I
see
got
that.
it.
So, some Chicago school teacher, a guy by the name of Frank McCormick, texted, "In 2021, I publicly criticized my school for putting ideological indoctrination ahead of education. What followed was intimidation, harassment, and retaliation. A principal who sought a mental wellness check, physical threats from a fellow teacher, doxing, the release of private medical records, and a level of hostility that left me afraid to go to work." That doesn't sound like a very nice school environment.
But it happens. It happens everywhere, and it happens if a principal doesn't like you. In this city, especially, like they can make your life very miserable if you clash with the principal because they have all powers in the building.
Yeah. Well, wait, what about, I was reading about kids assaulting their teachers?
Happens all the
Yeah.
time.
It's horrible because there's no repercussions.
Right.
There's no consequences. Parents are blaming schools.
Right.
Parents are litigation happy. Anytime that there's an issue, it gets turned around on a teacher. That's why we're losing so many teachers, and nobody really wants to go into the profession anymore because of the lack of respect, the lack of accountability for the students, the lack of support from even administration. But administration's hands are often tied because they can't even do out of school suspensions. It's a lot of red tape to do any of that, and it's unfortunate. And we're creating a society of people, of kids that just do not have any consequences for their actions, and we see it nationally with the amount of violence and the school shootings. Like, I don't think these kids look at life like it's reaction and consequence, right? And they look at life like we can do whatever we want and it's okay. I do believe there is a lot to say for having a consequence for our actions, and to know that one action sets off other reactions and so forth.
Well, Eileen, it begs the question, what are some legal consequences? It isn't like I can slap the kid's hand. It isn't like I can keep him out. What are some legal consequences for chastising a teacher or getting kicked out of class? What are the legal consequences?
They never arrest the kids,
You
do
gotta
they?
you really have to get creative.
And you're going to get sued then.
I would, just having good relationships with the parents and, really being able to communicate with them and having their support, number one, is huge, right? And then I would make the students I would go old school. I would say, right, I will respect Miss Delrossi 25 times on that piece of paper. I write it for them because they don't know how to write or spell, and I show them exactly how it should be spaced, and I make them write it 25 times. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to think of your own consequences. And that's what a lot of great teachers are doing. They're creating their own disciplinary system within their classroom and consequences. And they're being very creative. And that's why I advocate for the teachers on the front lines to get as much as they need. Because I don't think a lot of people realize, they look at teachers as having summers off. Yeah, but what they're doing in the months that they're in school is insurmountable.
Okay, I'm gonna do the announcements. First of all,
Okay.
if you guys want to talk, you need to shut your microphones off. So, the absolute auction. In other words, you can bid $1 on this and it's yours. For the courthouse is
Oh my
gonna be
gosh.
next week, and it's June 10th, Wednesday, June 10th, at 11
Should we
a.m.
buy it?
at the courthouse. So,
Yeah, I could buy it.
For a buck?
girls, shut your microphones off, please. Thank you.
Should we buy it?
What book?
You're still.
Okay, I need to do the announcements, and you girls are screwing them up, so just stop talking, please. So, grand opening of the Robert Clemente Baseball League is this weekend, June 6th. Actually, tomorrow.
Down here at Superior Court.
Oh, boy.
Put it into a veterans place.
So, June 6th at the North Common Park, 10 a.m. Hope to see you over there. Greek Festival's coming up next weekend, and I'll shrink this up so you can see it. It's a yummy time, and Holy Trinity
Turn it into a
Church Greek Festival is going to be June 12th to 14th, and you can see the time. So you take your fancy phone out of your pocket, take a picture of this. You like Greek food, you need to head over there. You have a great time. And so moving right along here, we got St. William's Parish is going to have the parish picnic out in Tewksbury, June 14th, 11 a.m., 11:30 until 3:30 at the Oblate Residence. That's 486 Chandler Street. They're going to have an outdoor mass at 11:30, so it'll be a good time to be had by all. And that's happening on June 14th, starting at 11:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Golf tournament this is going to help out the Children's Fund.
$5 million.
Do you girls want to read these?
No.
Okay, so the sponsorship, June 15th, is going to be at the Four Oaks Country Club, and all the sponsorships are down here if you want to take your fancy phone out of the pocket and help out the Children's Fund. They'd love for you to do that. Their website's down here. They're out at 2 Omni Way in Chelmsford, so hope you can golf that day. Campaign kickoff party for, I think this is Brady McCarran. Yeah, Brady McCarran's having a party June 18th, Thursday, June 18th, up and left. And donations start at $20 and go up. This is a really great idea. East End is having a barbecue, hot dogs, burgers, whatever you want to have, and a 50-50 raffle. It's going to be June 27th, coming up the end of the month, and starting at 5 o'clock. Looks like a lot of fun. June trips this is the Lowell Senior Center. This is pretty cool. They're going to, let's see, that's going by the 4th. So they're going to Salisbury from the Transfiguration Church from the train station. They're going to Salisbury Beach for a beach trip. You can go to Hampton Beach Sandcastles on the 23rd of June, and they're going to Plymouth. So just be in touch with the Senior Center, and they'll tell you what this costs and how to make that work. Going over to this guy, the food at the Senior Center. We're going to have this guy right here, and today is the 5th. So today we have baked cod. Tomorrow we're going to have chicken Alfredo. So they're open 7 days a week, the Lowell Senior Center. So if you're hungry at lunchtime, head over there. Bye, Regina. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then on Sunday they're going to have a cheeseburger. It's $2. If you don't have the $2, they feed you for free. And for my friend Rita Mercier, she asked us to make sure we talk about this. There's going to be bingo on Sunday, June 7th. That's this Sunday, 2 p.m. over at the Lowell Senior Center, 276 Broadway Street. Going to have a lot of fun over there. So if you like bingo, head over there around 1:30, 1 o'clock, and you'll have a great time. Back to you, Cliff. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. Eileen. Eileen?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that.
So did you see the article on Karen Reed that's headline Culture of Bigotry and Misogyny?
That was disgusting, the way that those officers talk. Regina, I can't wait to hear your input on it. Have you heard it, seen it?
It turns out that John did the announcements before Regina's time up, and she left.
Oh, by the way, importantly, if you go out Andover Street, don't bother. The street's closed in Tewksbury for a water main break. So if
Well,
you're,
yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Actually, all this work that's going on in the city, like there's a ton of work going on in my neighborhood, and we're not notified. Our streets are closed off. They're saying only residents can go by, and then I said, I do live on the street. You're going to have to go around another way and figure it out, the cop says. And these police officers are not even like doing their job. They're just standing there getting tons and tons of overtime. It's really making me upset. And now a water main break. I mean, I don't get it. Like, at least give people a notification that work is going to be done. Put a nice big neon paper saying, hey, this street is going to be affected, so plan an alternative route. Just a little heads up instead of like driving and not being able to go up your street.
if you turn Waze on it, we'll guide you around that, Eileen.
Yeah, but not, I mean, if I'm just doing errands, right, and I'm coming home at like 5 o'clock, you know what I mean, after a long day, then I want to go home. And then when you say, I do live up that street, and the police officer says, well, you're going to have to figure out another way to get there. And it's just frustrating. And
Well,
it's
Eileen,
like,
I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach this morning, and I guarantee you, I can drive to the beach with my eyes closed, but I'm turning on Waze, and I'm going to go the way that app tells me to go.
Well, just the other thing too is that whole sewer project improvement. It's I think it's a 3-year project, and I know they closed off part of Lakeview Avenue, and like in between this street and that street. And the other day, I wasn't really sure where and there was no sign that said detour. So I agree with you. They need to be better at it. But I was talking with a friend, and I said, this is going to be crazy when school starts again. They're going to have to reroute all the buses, and that's going to be a chaotic thing. And then we have to put up with this for 3 years. But forewarned is forearmed.
Well,
But
but respectfully, in their defense, kindly tell me where there's going to be a water break on Monday.
Pardon me?
Tell me where there's going to be a water break on Monday, and I'll make sure there's signage there.
right,
can't
well, when they're doing work, especially, like they were doing work on Willard Street, behind Bridge Street, right where the Auto Zone and the Hafners are. And they've been doing work there for over a month now, where it's consistently closed down. And whatever happened this past week, they shut off all the water. All the water got shut off. Even Hafner's had to close down the car wash. And so just giving a heads up that something could happen. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing that much of significant work, something could happen.
Well, they put a coating on our street, Manser, and they passed out a piece of paper apparently to all the houses and listed all the streets that were getting this coating, and gave us a heads up on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you, when you get home, will you snap it to me and show it to me, just so I can see it? Because and here's my thing. I know there's a lot that needs to be fixed in Lowell. The streets are horrible. There is a lot of work to be done. I'm grateful that they're doing the work. And so I know you can't have it all your ways, but just a little notification for people that especially are affected would just be, I don't know, a little bit more helpful, and just not have like a police officer being like, well, figure out another way, after you see police officers not even paying attention to their details, and you know they're getting paid handsomely for it, and it's frustrating.
If
And
I
it's
can,
throughout the entire city, and I don't know. The rage, I get upset. I really get upset at it because,
Eileen,
you know,
with the cops, okay, it's just as simple. It's a perk. It's a perk. They're paying these guys, and before they pick up what's called the detail, before they get there, they're told you're just going to stand there. You're just going to sit in your cruiser, or you're going to direct traffic. They know if they're going to have to direct traffic. They're told before they get there what you're supposed to do. It's a detail, it's a perk, and there's nobody else out there. If Cliff and I get in a fist fight, Eileen will likely turn on your cell phone and record it for Facebook, and Cliff and I will roll around on the floor fighting until the cops get here. The cops are necessary, and I think it's a just reward. They have details. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is the whole. I drove by 2 police officers at the bottom of my street. They were just talking, and I just stuck my my hand out and did a thumbs up. Like, yeah, you guys are doing a great job. I've done that a couple of times because it's like, hello, you're not even paying attention, and this could be dangerous. And then there are the ones that are in their cars with the lights on, and they're just on their phones.
We got to make you a city councilor. We got to make you a city. You got to run for city council, Eileen.
I know, and I'm wondering if it's because of Belinda Duran that Cliff got those notices, that she made sure. I don't know.
So, you're avoiding Karen Reed.
Oh, yes. So part of Karen Reed and the whole defense, she was found not guilty last June, about a year ago, and now she's brought the civil actions upon the Mass State Police, the Canton Police Department, and it's come out how horrifying the central officers that responded, Detective Good and Mass State Police Officer Michael Proctor, talk to each other about they're racist. They're saying, just don't worry, don't rush to that car. I saw who it is, and it's people with the N-word, and just let them die. It's just so disgusting to think that these people are the people with such authority and got away with that for so long. Now, one of the police officers, Police Officer Good, who was one of the first responding officers to the John O'Keefe death, he resigned 2 days ago, but he was pretty much told to do so because they were aware that all of these messages were coming out. You can really find and read all of the documents. It's on WCBB, News Center 5, and it's horrible. And even in relation to Sandra Birchmore, they talked about her being basically subhuman and not very smart. They used the R word to describe her. And it's even hard for me to say
word?
these words.
The Republican.
Like, meaning special needs. Somebody
Retarded.
with with very low intellectual ability, and it's hard for me to even say these words because I don't think anyone should be classified like that or ever discriminated against, and it's disgusting to think that they were in authority and power and control, and they also found that in past situations, these officers planted drugs on people to boot. So I'm pretty sure that if they could plant drugs on people, they could plant taillight also, which is another major thing with the Karen Reed case. So, yeah, a lot of discouraging news, and I really hope that this gets recognition by the legislature of how
It's not.
wayward.
It's not.
They don't care.
What?
They
No,
don't-
I know
don't
they
care.
The legislature the state House of Representatives just passed a bill
The
to,
cowardly lion will do nothing about this. Our senator.
yeah.
She will do nothing about this. As she licks the boots of the guy who runs the Senate, whatever his name is.
Ron Mariano.
Mariano.
Like a little kitten, she'll lick his boots.
But it's interesting when you go through the Office of Campaign Finance, Mariano, and you see all the people that donate to him. You see a lot of these names in involved in the investigation, the police officers and Mass State Police. You see a lot of those names, so you understand why they have had so much leeway and abuse of power and authority that they've used.
Well, let me just interject something here. There was just it's House Bill 5469 was just passed through the House of Representatives yesterday. It limits the power of the state auditor, and even more importantly, it limits the power of the judiciary, like the Supreme Court, to review anything that the state auditor does. So tell me what's going to happen here. We're going to, pardon the expression, we're going to hell in a handbasket. I mean,
that was specifically sounds like for Diana DiZoglio and for them to take away the vote where 72% of Massachusetts wanted the audit.
Okay, so the people that we elected to represent us are going against what we want. 72% of the state believes in this audit.
But
Now-
that's because the Troika.
Of what?
The Troika. The governor, the Senate president, Karen Spilka, and the head of the House of Representatives,
Ron Mariano.
Ron Mariano.
Yeah.
Those three people, we have an inversion of democracy. Instead of it being from the people up, it's from those three people down.
And here's another thing. When something goes on the ballot, the Secretary of State writes it up, then he has to send it to the Attorney General to get approved to get on the ballot. So, Galvin, I forget his first name, it slips my mind. Galvin, the Secretary of State, wrote it up, sent it to the Attorney General, who is, is
Who's Andrea Campbell, whose brother is being faced with
Right.
Sexual assault charges from driving an Uber. So it's very convoluted.
Right,
It
it
has
is.
nothing
And
to do with
and
her.
it was she approved this to go on the ballot, which gave us the right to vote, and we voted at 72% to have a full audit of the state legislature, which includes Senate and House of Representatives. So now they don't like it, and this particular, the 5964, the House bill, was fast-tracked. There was no community input whatsoever. They fast-tracked it because they wanted to push it through, because they don't want this thing to go through. It's crazy. The next thing you know, they're gonna say, well, you voted this way, but we're not gonna regard that. It's not right. We're gonna write a bill that says we don't have to follow what the people voted in.
The only cure for this is the people have to get out and vote.
No, first step is, Cliff, stop
Well,
writing
they
checks.
did.
Stop
They're
writing
being
checks.
ignored.
And when they see the income drop in their account, they'll know automatically, I'm ticking off my supporters. Don't have to wait till election. Stop writing checks.
Well, the supporters are still going to be the supporters. The rest of us have to get out and vote. If you get the vote in November up around 60%, that'll send a signal.
And we have a legislature that will say, the vote was mistaken, there was fraud there, we're gonna have to redo it.
Was my point.
That's what we run into here.
It's
Or
just
the way that we do it is an independent audit run by the same corrupt legislatures that have been abusing the power, and we'll do the audit and make it look nice and fluffy.
Exactly.
So,
Hey, if you see City Councilor Sidney Lang today, wish him a happy birthday.
okay. So, the Lowell Sun had an op-ed pushing the idea of a jungle primary. Do we think that's going to enhance our situation?
I like the idea,
You do.
because on primary day, who gets elected? Nobody.
Well,
It's a waste of taxpayers' money.
actually, with the jungle primary, if someone gets 50% of the vote, they're elected.
The jungle primary, I like how it narrows it down, and it's for all people. We don't care about your party, we don't care if you're an animal, whoever's running, I don't like parties. I don't like the Republican Party. I don't like the Democrat Party. It's all about our side's got to win. The hell with Americans. Our side's got to win.
But do you not think that the people saying our side has to win are saying that because they think that that is
Hey, it's Michelle Hoey's birthday, too. That's Bobby's wife. Happy birthday, Michelle. Sorry, Cliff.
don't you think they think that that is what is good for America?
That their side wins. That's what they think.
Yeah.
You have to aim the mic. See, my mic's aimed at my mouth. Yours is aimed at your forehead.
Yeah, well,
I can hear you better now.
life goes on.
Well,
So,
if I can't hear you, the audience can't hear you.
what worries me is Paul Krugman, Nobel laureate, PhD economist, has called to purge America of MAGA. And,
That's another crazy group.
okay, you know where they came from, right?
The planet Earth.
Tea Party.
Hey, it's Diana DeZoglio's birthday, too. Wowzers. I'm doing my birthday greetings to people. Diana DeZoglio, want to guess how old she is, Cliff?
48.
I'm going to go with 40-something. 42.
Charlene, you want to guess?
What, how old she is?
Yeah. Did you say 43? Perfect.
I'm gonna say late 40s.
She's 43.
Okay.
So Eileen was closest.
She was, yep.
What's my prize?
Winner, chicken dinner.
She looks great for her age. She does look like she's in her 20s.
She's charming. She really is charming. I've been to a couple of political parties with her.
She took to Facebook, and there were a couple of, I don't know whether someone posted them or not, but I watched a couple things yesterday. She's very well spoken. Isn't she from the Merrimack Valley?
Yeah, she lives in Methuen.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's common for people on the left, indeed most Democrats, to call Trump supporters Nazis. And so we just sort of shrug and move on.
They've been doing that for political parties for years, Cliff.
No.
I can show you pictures of Obama looking like a Nazi. It's nothing new. Well, I go.
It's new for me,
Okay, I'll show
but I'm
you.
older than you.
I'll show you.
So anyway, Paul Krugman's calling to demagify America. And here's what he said. We need to defang Trump as much as possible and make sure that neither he nor anyone who follows in his footsteps has power after the next two elections. But beyond that, we really need to do a thorough purging of the United States. We need a demagification. That is, I'm not going over the top by using a word that's very similar to denazification that we pursued successfully after World War II in Germany. So we're going to
Why don't we just get
demagify.
rid of all the corruption, all the corrupt politicians, and see if that makes anything better?
Well, who says you're not a corrupt politician? Do we get rid of you too?
I mean, depends where you're going to send me. I mean, I could be up for it. But I'm just saying, I don't make the major decisions that a lot of politicians do that
Well, do you think the Speaker of the
a
House
lot
thinks?
more
Do you think
power
this?
than I do.
Do you think the Speaker of the House thinks he's corrupt?
No, good point. I see what you're saying.
So there is President Obama as a Nazi, and now you're complaining because they do it. Is someone not making him look like a Nazi? This is just stupid what happens with every president.
So what we're talking about here is demagnification. They want to purge the country of MAGA people.
Why don't they purge the Democrats and Republicans at the same time? Let's just be Americans.
All right. So
Thank
you're
you.
not concerned about this?
Not in the least.
And you don't think they'll come after you and take your license?
No, they're not gonna. I'm small potato. We're small potatoes. At best, we have 1,000 viewers. Although I'll agree that we have influential viewers, but we have 1,000 viewers. They don't care about us. Meaning the Democratic Party, they couldn't care less. Republican Party, same thing. The MAGA people, same thing. I mean, yesterday it was fun to be MAGA. Now it's stupid. It's way over. The guy's elected. Trump's a nice guy, but he's a lame duck. He's going to work like crazy to do everything he wants to do right now. And I think he's got 900 days left.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff, I love what he's doing. Some of the stuff, not so good. And Rita Mercia says, thank you so much. You are the best.
Well, Charlene, you got any thoughts on this demagnification proposal from Paul Krugman?
I don't know. I just think it's so much fluff. I don't see anything good being done. It's my thing is I think that there's certain people that breed on the fact that if you create enough confusion, people won't know what to do, and you can get your agenda across, whatever that agenda is. And I came of age in a time where your vote counted, and you had the dinner table discussion. Okay, I forget whether it's 18 or 21. Now you can vote. Did you go down and register? Yep, Mom, I did. Okay, well, you're going down to vote today, aren't you?
Charlene, the
Yep.
biggest thing I get a kick out of is the spying that the government does on us. Everybody's phone it's on 24/7, whether it's on or off. If there's energy in that phone, it's listening to every word you say. There's a computer out there analyzing everything you're talking about, privately within your own house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a computer out there listening to you, and it's okay. How is this okay? Nobody asked Lori Trahan about this. Nobody asks Ed Markey about this. How is it that my TV set is looking at me, watching me? Why is this allowed?
Well, it's really transparent. Like if I go onto the internet, okay, if I go onto Chrome,
There's a computer watching you to do that, yeah.
and I order something, just say it's vitamins.
Yep.
Okay, the next thing I know on my Facebook feed, I'm getting every other thing is something about a vitamin. Okay.
Yep.
Every other thing, if I ordered some clothes from Kohl's, every other thing, and I ordered it through the internet, not through Facebook. And now they're sending me all these other things about advertisements. There is no privacy. I agree with you. I wonder, sometimes I go to bed and wonder, well, is tomorrow going to be the end of the world? Because look at this. This is crazy. Everyone knows a lot about me. How are they going to try to control me? Sometimes I think about the fact that I'm a little older, and I think, well, if I get sick, are they really going to take care of me? Are they just going to brainwash me and warehouse me? I think of those things because it seems
The medical people will tell you, they'll look at your health insurance and they'll say, we've done the best we can for Charlene. Now what that means is Charlene doesn't have the right insurance for us to take care of her properly. But the medical people will say, we've done the best we can for Charlene.
Well, to me that's don't
It's
even
a reality.
Don't even go down that road.
You don't think that's true?
I do. I'm saying I do. I mean, look at the fact. Okay, I'm not for killing anyone. The CEO of the most profitable health insurance company, United Healthcare, gets killed. Okay?
By a nut, yep.
Nut or not, his reason was he was mistreated. Did United Healthcare do anything about lowering their premiums? No, they kept taking the money, okay? And, I mean, I've always been in a spot where I've paid for some of I never got, from my employees, I never got free medical insurance. I had to pay a premium. And I agree with you. I think that's part of it. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary.
Well, how is it that the hospital has the gall to say, we've done the best we can? They don't take questions. What do you mean you've done the best you can? Why can't you get her a heart transplant? Because her insurance won't pay for it, it's the answer.
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about that this week because
But John, if her insurance won't pay for it, who should?
well,
The federal government.
Her insurance company must pay for it. Not if you buy car insurance, Cliff. Every insurance company I know of will try to wiggle out of whatever claim you have.
right.
They'll just try. Oh no, you're not covered. Unless you threaten to get a lawyer, then they'll pay for your damage. But as long as you're not going to give them any guff back, they'll just say, we ain't paying.
I've never had that experience.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just read of something where a physician,
I want to get Eileen's input too.
a physician, happened to be a woman physician, they must have got pre-approved because the hospital won't put you into surgery unless you're pre-approved.
Unless they're going to get paid, yeah.
And what? Yeah.
Unless
So
they're going to get paid, that's pre-approved.
okay, so the patient is on the table under anesthesia, and the surgeon is called out because the insurance company is telling her now they won't approve it. Okay, so the surgeon continues and does the surgery. So if the hospital doesn't get paid, they're going to be after her. But the insurance company, it isn't even, the person she's talking with probably isn't even a physician. You know, he or she is someone that is quote unquote been trained to review. They have nothing. They don't have any. They have little understanding of what's going on, and I think it's just. It's just crazy. The way we do it. It's just unbelievable. And I don't know. You know, I mean, to answer your question about how can the hospital say that comes back to the society that we live in. No one takes responsibility. Not me.
Well, what you have to do is you have to go to a board meeting and just say, who the hell do you people think you are? Are you here to save people's lives or just make money? What are you here to do?
Right. It's a business.
And it should be profitized. They should pay taxes. If they're just a business, they should pay taxes.
Okay. So
They don't pay taxes?
No, they're.
They pay in Lowell General pays no real estate taxes. Did you think
Is
they
it
did?
considered a nonprofit?
Correct. They're a not-for-profit.
Yeah. Well, think about this. Assisted living facilities, okay? You're paying $4,000 a month for room and board. That company, that corporation, is a 501c, which is a non-profit, okay?
Yeah.
I'd be willing to go online and try to figure out, go to like 5 of the assisted living places here and see what the directors are paid, okay? And how do you to me, a 501c means that you're not at the top level of salary, you know?
Well, that's why they're paying people $15 an hour to wipe your butt.
Right. But then what do they make?
And
it,
they're
you know?
usually new people to this country, and they think that's the best they can do, just to make $15 an hour and wipe grandpa's butt.
Right. But I had a hard time when, we were going through some health crises here, and what was it? What was the guy's name? Norm, I forget his last name. Norm DeShane, he was the president of Lowell General.
At the time, making $4 million a year.
I didn't hear the 4 million part, but I heard 850,000. And in my opinion, I said to my brother one day, I said, what can he do in one day that's worth that amount of money? He's got all these captains below him that are making most of the decisions, and I don't get it. I think it's it's the,
Hey, we got 4 minutes left.
well, I'm done for today. I've
So-
had my piece.
Cliff, do you have any weekend plans?
Yeah, getting ready for Monday.
Okay, so you got no fun, you gonna go get an ice cream or anything, any
No.
treats for yourself?
No.
No? Okay. How about you,
But,
Shel?
but wait, John, the important thing is Joe Biden needs money for his presidential library.
Okay, Cliff's
And-
gonna work on helping him for that.
And it turns out Joe Biden is going to publish a book just before the November elections.
So Charlene, what are you doing for
Give
fun this
his
weekend?
side of the story.
I'm going to a graduation party. My cousin has two grandchildren graduating from the same high school. So I'm very happy because I love doing that stuff. You know,
One of my nieces became an MD, and they're having a, I think it's a surprise party, so I'll
Yeah.
shut up. But this
where
is,
did she go to medical school?
don't know, but it's far away. Columbia, maybe?
New York City? That's New York
Pretty
City.
far away, pretty far away.
Anyway, that
How
good
about
for
you,
her. I think that's awesome.
Eileen, real quick, what are you doing the weekend? Any fun stuff?
No, just probably doing some spring cleaning still. Still need to do that. And I'm really thinking about maybe going to bingo on Sunday. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll put that up for the final thing. So, Cliff, back over to you. Time is short.
I'm out of ideas.
Oh, come on. Now you have 67 pages of agenda there. You can pick up something.
It's only
He's
12
already thinking
pages.
about Monday's agenda. That's why.
Well, I have to tell Cliff that since I've been coming on the show now since the first of the year, every month, once a month, every 4 weeks, I go home and I Google things, and find out. And I don't just read the first page. I go, I Google farther down. And then, one thing leads to another, just like some of the stuff on this today. I'm going to go home and look up a few of these people.
All right.
And I
So,
think
I got a good quote for you. Representative LaMonica McIver, who comes from a badly gerrymandered New Jersey district up near New York, and someone paraphrased what she said. So she's asking Secretary Mullen, Secretary of Homeland Security, she says, you want to talk about racism and everything, tell me why every person locked up in Delaney Hall is a foreigner.
Hey, real quick, congratulations to Curtis LeMay's daughter, Allison, who's getting married today.
awesome.
Oh, that's
Thanks,
great.
Patty.
So anyway, Delaney Hall is the immigration lockup place in New Jersey that's been picketed recently.
Okay, that's our announcement for the day, and we'll see you Monday. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Eileen.